Thanks for listening to Baxie's Musical Podcast. If you like what you hear today, be sure to like it, share it, review it, tell everyone you know about it. You can also tell people you don't know about it. Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok for regular updates about upcoming guests. Today, we're brought to you by Metro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee. Be sure to check out their state-of-the-art dealership next to BJ's and Big Y on Memorial Drive, or check out metrojeep.com and make it Metro, and then drive home in your new Metro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram today.
It's Baxie's Musical Podcast.
One of the things that I love doing about this podcast is introducing people to music that they might not know, but should. Not because I want to show off how much I know, because who the hell is really interested in that? But to give people a chance to discover something that they may have missed out on, only to discover the rabbit hole that takes them into something that's amazing. I love when that happens, because you see, most of us miss about 90% of everything. For example, over the last 40 years, I've been working at radio stations that have historically played either classic rock or various mutations of it. Based upon that resume and the playlists that have followed, you might think that nothing decent or worth listening to has been released in 40 years. That's absolutely not true. In fact, I'll take it a step further. It's not only not true for the last 40 years, it's never been true, because radio historically ignores most of the greatest songs ever written in an effort to squeeze out a manageable playlist of about 300 songs or less. And those are the radio stations that used to pat themselves on the back for having something known as variety. But I'm getting off track. In September of 2024, I spoke with singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist Happy Chichester. Now, if you are aware of his music, and I highly recommend you swan diving into the Happy Chichester rabbit hole, then you probably know what I'm talking about. If you're not aware of Happy's music, then you might want to strap yourself in, because you're in for a hell of a ride. Whether it be with his band from the 1980s, the Royal Crescent Mob, which is still one of my favorites, to Howlin Maggie, to working with the Afghan Whigs, or with the band Brad with Pearl Jam's Stone Gossard and the late Sean Smith, to working with the Whigs' Greg Dooley and Sean Smith with the Twilight Singers, to being repeatedly asked by Dave Grohl to join the Foo Fighters, Happy Chichester is simply an amazing talent, a talent that's recognized by music insiders but deserves more attention outside of that circle. Happy Chichester has been somewhat of a legendary figure in music, having released great music on both independent and major record labels alike, including Sire, Columbia, and Elektra. And I have even mentioned his previous release solo albums that include 2007's Lovers Come Back, 2013's Torchwood Loop, and his 2003 live album called Live at the Aladdin Theater in Portland, Oregon. Now, after speaking with Happy in September of 2024, he gave me an early preview of his next solo album, his first in 12 years, called Test Time. Over the last 15 months, Happy, for whatever reason, has been keeping me updated on the progress of this record, sending me files to listen to and to get my opinion. Why? I don't know. All I know is that it's been amazing to watch how this record has developed, and frankly, it's been a real honor and a thrill, because I have been a fan forever. Test Time is available both on CD and limited edition vinyl on Bandcamp. It's also set to be released elsewhere on February 26th, and it is freaking fantastic, and arguably the best solo album of his career. And frankly, I cannot recommend it enough. But Happy, as talented as he is also a guy with a huge heart. He's not only a guy who's helped spread the gift of music and community through his work with the Harmony Project, which promotes music throughout the Ohio State prison system, he also shows double the amount of heart at home as well. And we're going to get a chance to talk about all of that stuff. And so it is great to welcome back my friend, the great Happy Chichester, to Baxie's Musical Podcast. Hey, there you are.
Yes.
Fantastic. How you been?
Good to see you. Doing fine. Yeah. How about you doing?
I'm doing great. Just a little
looking good though right now.
Thank you. So are you. My God. The completion.
That's saying something, because we've been working outside in the freezing cold all week. It's done though.
Good.
Our work is done.
Good. Well, completion looks good on you.
Ooh, thank you. Thank you.
I am so happy for you about this record. And get a load of this. I got it. My own copy. Test time, right off of Bandcamp. Didn't waste a second.
Thank you for your support.
Oh my God.
Really means so much.
Well, let me tell you something. There's two things I want to start off here. First of all, and I'm not just saying this because you're here, I think this is the best solo record you've ever done. And I've got them all. So, and here they are. I think you know how I feel about your music and have been for years. This record is not just really good. It's freaking great. So congratulations on it. It's such an enjoyable record from top to bottom.
That means everything, man. Seriously, because, I've basically forgotten about the record all week. So this is making my week now. It's all catching up. No, and I appreciate it. I know from listening to your podcast, from talking with you before, that you're the true blue music head, music lover, spread the word kind of guy. And that means everything to me. Well, my favorite kind of people, Baxie, is
perfect.
you.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate that. I really do. The other thing I wanted to bring up is, could you please not wait another 12 years to put on another record? I don't have that kind of patience.
Yeah. I hope I've got that kind of time, but I'm trying. I've got new songs, actually. That's something that happens a lot at the end of a project. I need something to fill that void. So I've got new songs already kind of cooking right now.
You've been kind enough to share this stuff with me for the last year or so. And again, not to blow your ass, but I've been completely honored by that. And so I wanted to thank you, because it's been so much fun to see how, these songs have developed from, when they were first recorded to where they are now. And I know that mixing is a lot of that, but there's also some other things that were added and maybe subtracted along the way. Tell me about the process of that. I mean, how do you decide, okay, now I've got the raw tracks done. How can I make these things sound even better?
You get into a mode of constant revision and refining. And you're always looking for ways of making it stronger, more cohesive, more coherent for your audience, And so I think the first sequence, probably the most different thing for you, because when I sent you this saying, we're really working on getting this finished now, it's real this time, it was a totally different sequence. And I think after a while, and that's helpful, by the way, and I appreciate you letting me do that, because I used to be able to do that by test driving songs playing live.
Right.
Yeah, you get a very clear sense from the audience what's strong, what's weak, what needs to be revised. And in this case, being able to send the preliminary stuff to you and a handful of friends and supporters, it sort of stood in place of that live experience. And it's invaluable, because you start to get away from your own subjectivity, your own biases and one-sidedness, and start hearing it through other people's ears a little bit, and recognizing where it could be revised here and there. And so, yeah, the sequence was not the first to change, but it became like, oh, this would be way better if we do it in this sequence. And you have to listen to the whole thing almost, because one song frames the next song, There's this coming from that era when albums had a real cultural place.
Yeah.
I wanted to make an album. So that was the aim and the focus, and what that process really helped with. And then you mentioned earlier the mixing. I had some amazing guys mixing it. Both guys have had Grammy-winning albums. One of them is Jeff Kayampa, who lives right down the street. He mixed my two previous solo albums, and also mixed Wayne Shorter albums and edited. He's got stories of sitting in Wayne Shorter's kitchen, working on editing stuff. And like Esperanza Spalding will walk in. Jeff is amazing. And he's also an amazing composer and a bassist. Just Columbus has so many amazing bassists. But then most of the album was mixed by Barrett Jones out in Seattle. Barrett, also amazing, and really great to work with. And those guys take what I do and just make it sound way, way better. And then after that, there's one more pass, which is the mastering. And her name is Rachel Fields from Resonant Mastering in Seattle, and she did an amazing job. It's okay to promote her because she'll get more business, hopefully. And she just did an amazing job because, as you know, there are songs that have me drumming, Nathan Parker drumming. There are songs with no live drumming at all, just a couple with like drum machine. And the mastering engineer takes all those disparate elements and makes it cohesive. I guess that's why they call it master.
It's really cool the way, for example, the first song on the album is D4. And the first time I heard it, I thought, well, that's pretty cool. But then, when I hear the final product, I'm like, man, there's been a lot added to this. And it's like a track that just, there's layers and layers and layers on that song. And I'm like, at first I was like, I would have started with that. But then when I heard it and build, I'm like going, oh yeah, that's the only song that should start this record. It was really cool to see it build. And I know it wasn't made this way or intended this way, but kind of reminded me a little bit of, in a way, kind of like, Remain in Light from Talking Heads. Like it's like one thing after another until at the end of it, it's like this big giant crescendo of a song. Really, really cool the way you handled that.
Oh, that's really nice. And I love hearing the Talking Heads reference because I love that band and had that record and a lot of other Talking Heads records. Got to meet some of the band too.
That's cool.
And Adrian Ballou, who worked with them, is just one of my favorite guitarists of all time. Really, really unsung, amazing guitarist. I hope that I can help in some tiny way to just Adrian Ballou, you're amazing, and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
It's funny. I interviewed him a few years ago, and the story is I was at a David Bowie concert, and me and my radio at the time went up to David Bowie. And Adrian I said this whole story to Adrian. I said, you may have been near there, but when you're in front of David Bowie, the only thing you see is David Bowie. And we asked if he would agree to an interview. And he said, only if your radio station is playing the new Adrian Ballou song, which is Pretty Pink Rose from his Young Lions record. Great record. And of course, we were honest and said, well, no. David Bowie turned us down. So I appreciate the support he gave his friend, but Adrian Ballou I totally agree with you. What a brilliant musician.
Nobody plays like that. No. His solo just he's just just got that genius, to think that Bowie stole him from Frank Zappa, that's amazing.
Yeah, no kidding. I think the thing that resonates with me about the new record is that it feels much more personal. And I know there's a lot of that. And the biggest one being your wife, Laura, and some of the things that you both had to deal with together for this. And there's a lot of songs written for her and even about her in this record. Tell me a little bit about that and how she's been an inspiration to you in this process.
Well, she's always been an inspiration to me from the moment we met. The first song on the first Howlin Maggie album was written about her. It's called Miss Universe, and there's several on that too. So it spans the time since post Royal Crescent Mob that I've been putting out music. But in this case, she's had some health challenges probably for the last 9 years or so. 23, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And a very aggressive form, and had to go through insane. It definitely shifted my daily focus from, because I'm just such a music head. If I could just play music every day, then everything was good, and that's been my life. But in that time, really had to focus on what am I fixing for meals, when am I going to get to the grocery store, how am I going to do this, do that, really focus and shift on caregiving and other things. So that set back the timeline. But the songs that I wrote for her were actually written before her diagnosis. Like D4 and Pocket Messiah were songs that we have to drive 40 minutes north to Delaware, Ohio to get her infusions of chemotherapy and different, all kinds of things, radiation. And she would put those songs on in the car and just blast them. And it would just get her psyched up and ready because those treatments were very hard. And it made me feel great that I could be supportive in that way, as well as just in a practical day-to-day caregiving way. That she, admittedly is like probably my biggest fan, I'm sure, but these were songs that were actually written for her. And then oddly, I don't know if I told you this story the last time we spoke, but on the day that she was to begin radiation, we had to make that same drive, and the CD was not in the car. And it was a new treatment she hadn't been through before. It turned out to be really hard. 25 radiation treatments, 5 days a week, for a month, and for over a month. And she was really scared. Obviously, it's a daunting thing. But she's like, okay, I just need some music. She turned on the radio, and the radio station was playing Alcohol by Howlin Maggie. Just it happened to be that moment. So she said, it's you. She cranked it up, and that sort of stood in there for her. And so, yeah, there's some, I guess, yeah, those are the most personal. There's another song called Stranger Life that was written for an artist friend of mine named Jim Biotti. And I was helping to do caregiving with him in his home the last 4 months that he was around. And so I wrote that song. And then 2 weeks before he died, a big retrospective show at a gallery here in Columbus. And Biotti is just, you can go to beoddy.com and see his paintings. It's just amazing. And he's an amazing guy. And I wrote that song for him, and I was able to finish it in time to perform it for him. So yeah, like I've always had, personal things to bring into music, to my songwriting. And I never know if the audience is going to hear it that way or not. But I guess you could say as time.
You mentioned in the liner note on the album about Pocket Messiah and how it gave her some level of comfort to hear that song, because it's a really upbeat song. But the cool part about it is not every husband has the ability or skill to provide that kind of joy for their wife when they're going through the scariest time in their life. What an amazing gift you were able to give her with that. And
that's nice of you to say. What else am I going to do?
Well, I know. I understand that. But it's like, when you think about it, it's like, we all have people who have been sick or have had cancer. But it's like, what can you do? Like, you call up saying, hey, is there anything I can do for you? Yeah. Could you write an inspirational song that I could play every time I go to radiation? No one says that. Nobody says that. And no one gets it done. That's the thing. The fact you were able to do it is amazing.
Thank you, man. Well, it was really helpful to her in a really kind of just pragmatic way, which made me feel good, and she would just crank it up. I'd be driving, and just really, I'm just going to give you a little background. Laura is amazing. She runs Popfly Music, which is the label. The things that she's done are things that no way I could ever do on my own. If I was like an artist with a label, it would be, super Mr. Unknown completely all the time. But the things that she's able to do, it really astonishes me every day and impresses me to this day, even today. Like every day there's something that she'll do. I'm like, wow, you're a genius. She really is. She's really incredible. And then the other thing is like, she's not a person who succumbs to self-pity ever. She really is like, I call her tenacious and gracious. So all the difficult stuff that she went through, if I could be there and help, it's only because I know that if I was going through it, she would move mountains to help me and be there.
You mentioned Stranger Life. And when I first got the list of songs that first time, I think History and Stranger Life were the first two songs. And Stranger Life I liked like instantly. And there's a groove in that song, and this beautiful birds-like guitar flourish in it, which sounds so great. But the thing that you and I talked about drumming the last time, Nathan Parker's drum line in that song is freaking amazing. It's so beautiful. I'm trying to imagine how his right foot is going, and it sounds like it's my foot would be hanging off my leg after something like that. It's so great.
Yeah. The first gig we played together in 2014, I put my video camera back behind me just to have some little game film, just so I could like listen back, see how we did. And there's this break that in a song from Torchwood Loop called Messed Up. And the way that Nathan played it inspired me to work on that in my own drum practices, because drumming is really important to me, and I love to do it. Not that I'm that great at it, but I'm getting there. It's an aspirational thing. So I watched what he was doing and took a couple of the things, like and then I came up with this beat and just woodshedded it for a couple months. And the process for me would be to practice drums for an hour, record it on this little digital thing, plug that into the stereo, and then plug my bass into the karaoke mic and play along with drum practice. That way I could get like 2 hours of practice on two different instruments. And so it was him inspiring me to come up with a beat that then I could give back to him. And I'm so glad you mentioned Nathan Parker, because he's one of the greatest drummers, I think, in the whole wide world. First of all, he's been playing since he was like 2 years old. And, it was a couple of years after we started playing together that I realized he's also a keyboard player. It's really amazing. And his drumming on Stranger Life inspired really basically the basic elements of that song. And then he could take it and just go with it. So that somebody picks up on that, like you, Baxie, somebody who actually listens and able to hear all those other elements, But yeah, Nathan is just amazing and also one of the sweetest, sweetest people you ever meet.
The last time we talked, we talked a little bit about Sean Smith, and you guys to play together in the Twilight Singers and in Brad, and had been very, very close friends until he passed away. But you included the song "Knocking at the Door." Tell me about that song and about writing that with Sean.
We did a tour together. Laura was our tour manager in the summer of 2014, and I asked him to stay a couple of days at the end of the tour, and we would go to my studio and record a couple songs. So we recorded 2 songs in 2 days, including "Knocking at the Door." And Sean, he didn't believe in death. Maybe he's right. Some level, some astral plane or something, we're still in the studio recording together, maybe. But we just, I had some lyrics and I had a beat, and he helped fill it out. We worked so well together. We knew who could do what, but he was always the master at getting on the mic and freestyling and coming up with a song right off the top of his head. I mean, he just was so brilliant in that way, like a bebop soloist or a freestyle rapper, like these rappers who could just it's amazing to me. And Sean had that kind of gift, and he cultivated it, and I miss him every day. And he would tell me like, no, I don't believe in death. It doesn't end like that. And you just keep going. And I thought about that a lot since then, because I miss him every single day. And he and Laura became good friends too. And it's so often we'll just say, oh boy, Sean, or we'll say something like what Sean would say or how he would say it. He had this thing like, it's pretty cool. This character that he would do, we'll just do that and just laugh. So he's still kind of like, his spirit's still hanging around. And Knocking at the Door, the song on side 2 of Test Time, it comes right after Stranger Life. So the last line of Stranger Life is, I'm gonna miss you. Oh, I'm gonna miss you. And then you hear Sean's voice come in there, and that just seems so poignant and personally relevant, because I wrote that before he was gone, but sure enough, I mean, I do miss him.
There's a couple other songs that are absolutely beautiful: Shadowland, Pretty Eyes, and I'll Get Over You. Towards the end of the album, these are really, really beautiful songs, and it leads into why this record sounds so personal, because all of these things I know are being extracted from different parts of your life, and they're absolutely beautiful.
Thanks for saying that. I mean, it'd be nice to think that you take pain and you transform it into something that leads to beauty or compassion or wisdom in some way. And so that's part of the liner notes, is taking my experience and transforming it into music, and hopefully people can get something that's uplifting, and encouraging.
Now, the last song I'm going to talk about, to me, is the biggest earworm on the whole damn record, and to the point where it's like Happy at Home or Going to the Hospital. Like I haven't been able to pull it out of my head yet, and that's how many more months. That for whatever reason, that's like
hear that. That's great. I mean, people have been responding to that one too. It makes me think about like trying to make another video or something, because that was my attempt to write my version of Blowing in the Wind. I mean, seriously, like I really was breaking down the elements of Bob Dylan's songwriting in that song. And it's funny that it doesn't sound the least bit like a singer-songwriter. It's more, more evokes the 80s and bands like Depeche Mode, Royal Crescent Mob. We were label mates with Depeche Mode when they put out, what's the one with Policy of Truth and Personal Jesus and
Violator. No,
yeah,
not that.
Woo, I love that album. I mean, I love the arrangements. Synthesizers have always been synthesizer sound, and they come up with a good one. So yeah, in spite of wanting to, I hate to say I was just taking lyrical inspiration. I was really actually listening to Dylan's song structure and stuff. But the more I got into it, the more I drifted away from a guitar-based arrangement and the synthesizers and those kinds of electronic sounds took over. But I'm really glad to hear that you consider it an earworm, because inspiration also from Prince in that song, particularly a song like Erotic City, where he has these, I'm getting into nerd land talking about formal musical elements, but he has these like staccato synth sounds like, and there's something, I don't know, maybe it's just, generational or something, but Prince has a lot to do with inspiring that song. So hats off to artists from Minnesota.
Which is good to see Ohio at least acknowledging other states. I think that's good. That's probably fair.
Here in Ohio, we only see Ohio. It's just such a, oh my God, Ohio is just, actually, I really love Ohio while acknowledging Minnesota as well as Illinois. Well, all of them. But no, I'm kind of a champion of Ohio music, because a lot of times Ohio is a butt of jokes for good reason. But
I don't know, Happy. The Ohio State Turnpike is breathtaking. All those rest stops, but the most beautiful rest stops in America.
Yeah, well, designer urinal cakes, that makes a difference, Baxie. Don't go just with the mass-produced.
You're absolutely right about that. They are designed and look like urinal cakes with windows. That's
therapy here. It's very important.
One of the things that you've done, and I was on Bandcamp where you can get the record. The vinyl pressings on this record are really cool. I mean, you got 4 different. I think it's 4 different colors. They look fantastic. I mean,
actually, they're all uniquely different. I mean, there's some that sort of look kind of alike, but this is something I have to credit Laura with. I mean, she found Gotta Groove Records. They were pressed, manufactured in Ohio, and she found these guys and look, you can get it so they're all uniquely different in colors. And I was like, okay, cool. and then when they came, I was just like, couldn't stop looking at them, because they're like a kaleidoscopic, endless visual delight.
You're gonna drive record collectors freaking crazy with that idea, because like a completist like me, I don't want to have just one. I want like the entire rainbow of Happy Chichester records.
Yeah, these are all very different. I just kind of take a little peek when we were packing orders, which is, by the way, something I totally love and enjoy. Packing orders and taking them to the post office feels like honest work. And at this point, I mean, I still really like it, because it's been a while since the last record, as you pointed out. We did put out vinyl in 2016, but it was just a 45 RPM 12-inch single. But this is one where Laura, it's been a year plus since she's been done with chemotherapy, and she's just had more energy, and she just took on the record company side of the stuff like like always, just putting everything into it. And Got a Groove in Cleveland, Ohio. They've got an office here in Columbus too. They just did an amazing job of pressing it. And also, it's the first album of mine that's been available on vinyl. We might have to do more of that, because I got to hear the stuff on vinyl for the first time ever, like my own drumming on vinyl, and having that analog LP experience with the liner notes and everything. It harkens back to growing up listening to records, and the album had such a special place in cultural presence,
Right.
people waiting for that release. And so I got, having that experience was amazing.
When you look at, the body of work that you've done, and I'm talking about, back in the 80s with the Royal Crescent Mob, some of the records with that band, they're not impossible to find, but I mean, it's a challenge to find things like, Spin the World and Midnight Roses. They're not simple to find. Has there ever discussion amongst you guys about maybe either reissuing it or making it more available? I don't know whether it's through streaming. I mean, I realize, there's some financial considerations or non-considerations with streaming, but those records are to me, were classic records. And ever been any discussion about that?
Not really, nothing really substantial in terms of that. I mean, we lost our drummer Carlton just a couple of years ago. We did those reunion shows before he passed, and those were like a gift from I don't know, just we gave to each other. Like, we're gonna get together and do some final shows, and so. I just doubt that's going to happen. And it's partly because that band was such a, true all for one for all bunch. We shared songwriting, we shared publishing, we made decisions it was a democracy. And for somebody to take the lead on that, I mean, I would love it. Believe me, I love those albums a lot. And I appreciate that. That experience of listening on albums, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think that though, that Midnight Roses, Royal Crescent Mob, Midnight Roses, and Spin the World might be like on those streaming services. I don't even have a Spotify account. I listen to records, and I listen to the radio. I listen to CDs, I guess. Yeah, I still do that from time to time. So I know I've heard from people that some of that stuff is on the streaming services, but I've never seen. I mean,
those two,
they don't send us any money. I
know that. I mean, those two records are not available on Apple, Spotify. No, and it's like, listen, I mean, like you, I got CDs and I got vinyl of all of them. So I mean, there are people that have never heard those records, and it's a shame because they're really missing out on, I think, something very, very special. As we talked about before. For me, it's kind of formative band. That was a big band for me back in those college years. And, especially when Spin the World came out, I just thought, well, these guys are just fantastic. I mean, and the songwriting kept getting better and better, and very different from Omerta, which is awesome. But it's like, it's hard to explain it to somebody if they don't have access to listen to it. And that's the unfortunate part about it. Like, here's a great record that you're probably not going to listen to because it's not available to you.
I'm going to bring this up with Dee and David because we still text a lot. Yeah. I mean, even like in the last week, we've had text messages together. So I'll bring this up because you make a really good point and I take it to heart. And I would love for people to be able to access those records, whether it's streaming or not, doesn't even matter to me. I don't expect to make any money and I don't care about that. For me, it was my life in my 20s and that band means so much to me. And also, I think that in some ways that the music still holds up. I don't know if I'm the most unbiased person to say that.
It does hold up. That's the crazy part about it. When you listen to them now, they don't really sound dated at all. In fact, I think they still sound relevant. Even though the funk rock period kind of came and went, they're not so overproduced that it's like inaccessible or sounds like, well, this is definitely 1988. That you don't get that sense with those records.
I agree. I think they successfully test time.
They do. They do. Absolutely. It's funny because when I look at those records from years ago and I see progression of your songwriting over the year, it really has gotten more mature and more complete. How has it changed for you? Has it become easier or more difficult as you've gone on?
Some things get easier. Like if you're writing lyrics and you end a line with "world" and you're going to have to rhyme it in a couple seconds, then let's find a substitution because there's really like only one rhyme for that. You sort of get a little bit of wisdom and experience with that. Just little things. But I also like to be in a situation as a songwriter. Like so often I'll be there being like, okay, wait. Do I even know how to write songs? Did I ever? It's a miracle to me whenever I finish one because it's kind of nice to be in that zone where you have no idea where you are and you're working by instinct. D4 was like that for me. Like it doesn't take from any song structure. History just dragged me along for years. Like it was writing through me and I was like, okay, whatever. Okay, I'll understand. I only really like kind of understood that song when it was done. David Bowie used to like to say creatively, he felt best when he felt like he was just over his depth, and right. It was just a little bit dangerous. I think that's the way to be. And you acquire some experience and some skill, but partly I think it's mostly you're sharpening your intuition about songwriting because if it's too easy or it's too cookie cutter, then probably your listeners are going to know that too. They're going to. If you're not out of your depth a little bit like Bowie would advise, then you might want to just push yourself a little deeper.
Well, I mean, I think anytime you channel creatively, it's really the only way to improve upon, what you do. You're right. I mean, you can become, really complacent, like, maybe the 90s David Bowie, but he really started to kind of get himself out of that for a while and kind of returned to form, especially towards the end. But yeah, I mean, that's got to be really challenging and really difficult to continue to sustain that kind of, testing of yourself.
It feels good though. I mean, it feels rough when it's in. It's like working out. If you're swimming, you're like, okay, I'm going to up my swim from 3/4 of a mile to a mile today. That last quarter mile is just gonna bust you. You feel like it anyway, but it's worth it. And definitely, History and D4. There are moments, on different songs on this new album. That push, but I think it's worth it. And then there are songs, like they're still in the can because they still busted my chops and I haven't been able to get back into the ring yet,
You'll get there though.
Hopefully, yeah. Definitely want to.
One of the other things that we talked about last time, I want to bring it up again because I think it's such an important and really cool idea, is the Harmony Project, which is something that you've been doing for years. Where you're basically going into jails and prisons and sharing music with guys who are incarcerated, and in many ways, these guys are great musicians themselves. Tell me a little bit about that again, because I think it's such a cool idea.
Yeah, well, Harmony Project itself is such a cool idea. It's the brainchild of David Brown, who went to music school here, but he was born and raised in Louisiana, and actually and then he spent like 10 years or so in New York City directing choirs there, and then he moved back to Louisiana. We moved back to New Orleans just in time for Hurricane Katrina, and was in New Orleans when the hurricane hit and the floods came. And had to wait with his neighbors and friends to be rescued. And it occurred to him, I think at that time, like, okay, maybe New Orleans is just not ready for me, And so he found himself back in Ohio and had this idea to start a choir that was based on community and community building. Just a really inspirational concept, because the members of the choir don't have to audition. They merely have to commit to a set amount of community service hours per season, 2 seasons per year. And so they get all this work done in the community, and they bring people who ordinarily wouldn't cross paths right face to face and together. they the Harmony Prison Arts Program expanded that to build a bridge between the world inside the walls and the world outside the walls. Music is just one of the best ways to affirm and build community. And honestly, like going through all that stuff with Laura, when I had to get up at 6:30 on Wednesday mornings and drive to Madison Correctional, and then from there over to to Pickaway Correctional, and then over to Madison, and get back sometime mid-afternoon, that would be the social event of the week for me personally, and the friendships that you develop in there, and just playing music. Get up and play music with the choir, and I got to mention that the band that I play in, the other guys in the band are just world class musicians who have stories that are amazing. And it's for me like a music scholarship. Not only you're learning, your parts within this amazing group, you're learning about people inside of prisons who, they have a lot to say. They have a lot to sing about, and it's rewarding on so many levels.
Yeah,
But these guys that I play with, and these guys in the choir in the prisons that we go to, you can watch when you first go in there, the choir's just getting going. There's still this kind of stoic, and then everything just sort of melts, and the ice gives way to that sense of harmony and community and the sticking up for each other. We're all part of the same group, and we're gonna have your back. That's what Harmony Project reinforces, and that's something that transcends all the prison walls and neighborhoods and communities everywhere. That harmony is not just for singers and musicians. It makes everything better. Any situation, any work situation, when you've got a team and you get that morale going, you can move mountains.
Yeah, that's why I think it's so important. This is a population that in many ways gets forgotten about or disposed of, but there's real value in what they have to offer. And if rehabilitation means anything, this is a great opportunity for these guys, to get to that rehabilitation, to see that it's the world is a community, and I think that's really important that you do it, and it's really important that they respond so beautifully to it.
Yeah, the wardens, in particular, this in Pickaway, there's a warden named Rochelle Moore, and to watch her interact with the guys in the choir, that in itself, if you could project that onto a screen for our culture to learn from, you would see that a lot of the stereotypes that we have about prisons and incarcerated people and prison staff, she totally just shatters them all because she loves them. They love her. They joke. There was one morning we got there and people are still getting settled. And somebody starts playing, Chris Brown in the band, I think, starts playing I'd Rather Go Blind. And Warden Moore just steps up on the mic and starts singing Etta James. I'm telling you, man, this is a great way to start your Wednesday, Baxie.
Yeah, I bet. I bet it is.
I'll tell you, yeah.
Happy, this is, I do hope that that something comes before the next 12 years, because I don't want to wait 12 years to talk to you again. It's always great to kind of catch up, and again, your test time is I love this record. I'm really and I can't wait to hear what's coming up next.
Thank you very much. I mean, it means a lot to me because we are, like I told you, pop fly music. Sometimes I refer to it between me and Laura as mom and pop fly, and really because we have never done streaming and don't have those algorithms to help promote our music. It's people like you and our fans and radio, which we hope to work more, and social media, and just just our fans that promote our music. And so it means a lot to me and Laura as well.
Well, yes, let's stay in touch. I'm always ready to promote whatever the hell you're doing.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate the time today. We'll talk soon. And best of Laura.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a great afternoon, Baxie.
You too. Good seeing you. The name of Happy Chichester's new album is called Test Time. It's currently available on Bandcamp and soon to be available nationwide on February 26th. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can reach me at bax@rock102.com. I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks to Metro, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee, but most of all, thanks to you for listening to Baxie's Musical Podcast.